When I returned from my work conference, my daughter was different. When I asked what was wrong, she whispered, "Dad, I hate the medicine Mom gives me. It makes me feel so strange." Medicine? My wife never mentioned anything about medication. I searched everywhere and discovered an unmarked container hidden behind the cereal boxes. Just plain white pills with vitamins scrawled in my wife's handwriting. The following morning, I rushed Emma to the clinic for testing. When the pediatrician summoned me into her consultation room and revealed the lab results, her words made my heart stop. "I'm deeply thankful you're here with me now. What I'm sharing will change how you see everything. But before we begin, drop a comment telling me where you're watching from and what time it is in your world. Your presence here means everything as I share this." I steered into the driveway around 6:45. The November darkness had already swallowed Portland. 54 years on this earth, and lately each day felt heavier than the last. I collected my laptop bag and walked toward the entrance. The silence inside felt wrong, oppressive. "Emma, sweetheart, I'm home." Nothing. I discovered her in the dining room, geometry homework scattered before her, but she wasn't engaged, just staring, small fingers pressed flat against the paper, shoulders curved inward. "Hey, kiddo, how was your day at school?" "Fine." That single word was all I'd extracted for 3 weeks now. My vibrant, talkative 12-year-old had transformed into someone I barely recognized. Dark shadows ringed her eyes. Her complexion looked almost gray. She'd been collapsing on the sofa after school, sleeping for hours sometimes. When she finally woke, confusion clouded her face, like she'd forgotten where she was or how she got there. I'd questioned Rebecca about it multiple times. She'd dismissed it with a wave. "She's developing, Michael. Adolescents need extra rest." But this wasn't normal adolescent fatigue. This was something else entirely. I switched on the burner and retrieved chicken from the refrigerator. "Want to help me prepare dinner tonight?" Emma shook her head slowly. "I'm not really hungry, Dad." The silence expanded between us, thick and uncomfortable. I turned off the heat and settled into the chair beside her. "Emma, please, talk to me. Something's wrong. I can feel it." Her eyes immediately filled with tears. "Sweetheart, what's happening?" She bit down on her lip, chin quivering with emotion. Then, so softly I almost missed it. "Dad, can I please stop taking the medicine Mom gives me?" The world seemed to stop rotating. "What medicine are you talking about?" "The vitamins." She brushed tears from her cheeks. "Mom told me they're vitamins. She's only given them to me a handful of times, but Dad, every single time I take one, I become so impossibly sleepy. Like I physically cannot keep my eyes open. And then I sleep for entire hours. When I finally wake up, my head feels cloudy and strange, like I'm not really here." My pulse thundered in my ears. "When did this begin?" 3 weeks ago, maybe. The first time was on a Saturday morning when you drove to your office. Mom said it would help me concentrate better on my schoolwork, but after I swallowed it, I just crashed completely. I slept straight through until dinner time." Rebecca never mentioned vitamins. Never told me she was administering anything to our daughter. "How many times has she given them to you?" Emma counted carefully on her fingers. 5 times, I think. Maybe 6. Not every single day, just sometimes when she's home and you're not around." A cold, heavy weight settled deep in my chest. "Emma, can you show me this bottle?" She nodded and vanished upstairs. I sat frozen, fists clenched, struggling to control my breathing. Emma returned, clutching a small container. She placed it carefully in my palm like it might detonate. I stared down at it. No pharmaceutical label, no brand identification, just plain white plastic with a strip of masking tape adhered to the side. Written in Rebecca's precise handwriting, vitamins. I twisted it open. Small white tablets, circular, completely unmarked. My throat constricted painfully. Dad. Emma's voice fractured. Am I in some kind of trouble? No. I forced my face into a smile even though my hands trembled uncontrollably. No, sweetheart. You did exactly the right thing by telling me this. I pulled her into my arms and she wrapped herself around my neck, holding tight. But internally, one terrifying thought kept screaming louder and louder. What is Rebecca doing to our child? Sleep was impossible that night. The medication bottle sat on the kitchen counter, a small white cylinder that seemed to radiate menace in the darkness. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Emma's pale, exhausted face. Every time I take one, I get so sleepy, Dad. At 3 a.m, I surrendered, made coffee I couldn't drink, stared at that bottle. Rebecca arrived home around 10:15, breezing through the door with her designer briefcase. Sorry, I'm running late. The client presentation went longer than expected. She kissed my cheek, climbed the stairs to check on Emma. I said absolutely nothing, just observed her moving through our home like everything was perfectly normal. But nothing was normal anymore. Nothing would ever be normal again. At 6 o'clock sharp, the moment Oregon Health Sciences appointment line opened, I called. I need to bring my daughter in today. This is urgent. I can't wait. What's the nature of your emergency, sir? I believe she's been given something, some kind of drug. I need her tested immediately. They squeezed us into an 8:30 slot. I woke Emma gently. She blinked up at me, disoriented. Dad, it's so early. I know, sweetheart. We need to see a doctor this morning, right away. Fear flashed across her young face. Am I in trouble for telling you? I sat on her bed, smoothing her hair back. No, baby. I need to make absolutely sure you're safe and healthy. Please get dressed quickly. Okay, Dad. Rebecca was in the shower. I left a brief note. Taking Emma to doctor's appointment. Will explain tonight. I didn't trust myself to write anything more. Oregon Health Sciences was 20 minutes away. Emma sat quietly, clutching her backpack against her chest. I wanted desperately to tell her everything would be okay, but I didn't know if that was true anymore. Dr. Sarah Martinez met us in the pediatric unit, a woman in her mid-40s with intelligent eyes and silver-streaked hair pulled back professionally. She shook my hand firmly. Mr. Thompson, what's happening with your daughter? I explained as calmly as possible. Emma had been exhausted for 3 weeks, sleeping for hours at a time. My wife had been giving her pills, supposedly vitamins, but they made Emma extremely drowsy and confused. Dr. Martinez's expression darkened immediately. How many times has this happened? 5 or 6 times, Emma whispered, over the past 3 weeks. Do you have the container? I handed it to her. She examined it, jaw tightening visibly. This isn't properly labeled. We need a complete toxicology screen immediately. They escorted Emma to the laboratory. I watched through the observation window as a nurse drew blood from her thin arm. Emma was incredibly brave. She didn't cry, just looked away toward the wall. 45 minutes. I sat in that sterile waiting room watching the clock. Each minute stretched into eternity. I texted Rebecca at Oregon Health Sciences with Emma. Don't worry, we'll call soon. She responded within seconds. What happened? Is she all right? I didn't respond. If you found this story gripping so far, please hit that like button and subscribe to hear how this unfolds. Your support means the world. Finally, Dr. Martinez emerged, holding a printout. Her expression was grave. Mr. Thompson, your daughter has diphenhydramine in her system. Extremely high levels. It's an antihistamine found in adult sleep medications. In children, especially at these dosages, it causes severe drowsiness, disorientation, and with repeated use, she paused deliberately. Cognitive impairment, potentially permanent damage. The room tilted sickeningly. What are you saying? Someone has been administering your daughter adult-strength sedatives. Dr. Martinez's voice was controlled, careful. Where did she obtain these pills? From her mother. Dr. Martinez went completely still. Her pen stopped moving on the chart. She looked up at me and I witnessed something shift in her expression. Professional concern hardening into something deeper. Alarm, perhaps even anger. Mr. Thompson, she said quietly, we need to discuss next steps very carefully. I drove home in complete silence. Emma slept in the back seat, exhausted from the blood draw. I kept glancing at her in the rearview mirror, her small body curled against the door, breathing deep and steady. Cognitive impairment, potentially permanent. Dr. Martinez's words echoed relentlessly, and beneath them, one question clawed at me mercilessly. Why would Rebecca do this? I tightened my grip on the steering wheel. I needed answers desperately, but more than that, I needed to protect Emma. Whatever was happening, my daughter couldn't be caught in it anymore. I pulled into a Best Buy parking lot. Emma stirred as I shut off the engine. Dad, where are we now? Just need to grab something quickly, sweetheart. Be right back. Inside, fluorescent lights buzzed overhead. A young employee with a name tag reading Tyler approached. Can I help you find something today, sir? Security cameras, I said quietly. Something discreet for home monitoring purposes. Tyler nodded and guided me to a display wall. He pointed to a device disguised as a phone charger. Popular model for home security, plugs into any standard outlet, live streams directly to an app on your phone. Clear audio, 1080p video. You can access it from anywhere in the world. I'll take it immediately. 20 minutes later, I parked outside a small Portland house, Margaret's place, Rebecca's mother. A neat craftsman-style home with flower boxes beneath the windows. She opened the door, smiling warmly. Michael and my sweet Emma. What a lovely surprise to see you both. Hi, Margaret. I forced my voice steady. I hate to ask last minute, but Rebecca and I are doing some home repairs this weekend. Lots of dust and noise everywhere. Could Emma possibly stay with you a few days? Margaret brightened immediately. Of course, sweetheart. We'll bake cookies, watch movies together. Emma looked up confused and uncertain. Why can't I just stay home, Dad? I knelt to meet her eyes directly. I need to fix some things, honey. Important things. You'll have more fun here with Grandma. Please trust me on this. Okay, Dad. She nodded, though uncertainty clouded her face. Margaret took her hand gently. Come on, sweetheart. Let's get you settled in your room. I watched them disappear indoors, something twisting painfully inside my chest. I was lying to everyone now. Margaret, Emma. But what choice did I have? The house felt different when I walked inside. Empty, cold, unfamiliar. I stood in the living room, taking in the gray sectional sofa, the coffee table where Emma did homework every evening, the framed photographs on the wall. Our wedding day, her first birthday celebration, the Seattle trip. 14 years of marriage, 12 years raising a daughter together. Had it all been built on lies? I forced myself to focus on the task. I unplugged the lamp beside the sofa and replaced it with the camera charger. It blended perfectly into the room, just another block and an outlet. I angled it carefully to capture the sofa and front hallway. Then I opened the app on my phone. The live stream flickered on immediately. Clear picture, crisp audio. I heard the refrigerator humming in the kitchen. I walked across the room, testing the frame. The camera caught everything perfectly. Perfect, I muttered to myself. Back in the driveway, I sat in my car staring at the house we'd purchased together. For 14 years, I'd called it home. The place where we built our life together, where we raised our daughter from infancy. Now it felt like a stranger's house. My phone buzzed sharply. Rebecca. Honey, leaving work early today. Want me to pick up dinner on the way? I stared at the message. My thumb hovered heavy over the screen. Finally, I typed carefully. Sure, that'd be great, thanks. Her reply came instantly. Perfect. See you soon. Love you so much. Love you too. I hit send and felt physically sick. I looked back at the house, at the window near the hidden camera. Let's see what you do when I'm not here, Rebecca. Monday morning, 7:20. I kissed Rebecca goodbye at the door, my briefcase in hand, car keys jangling. She smiled up at me, still wrapped in her bathrobe. Have a good day at work, honey. You too? You're working from home again today? Yeah, I've got that important presentation to finish up. She squeezed my hand affectionately. Love you, Michael. Love you too. The lie tasted like ashes in my mouth. I pulled out of the driveway and drove exactly 2 blocks before turning into a coffee shop parking lot. Found a spot in the back corner where I had a clear view of the street, but couldn't be seen from our house. The camera was in place. I'd set everything up Friday night while Rebecca slept. I opened the app on my phone carefully. The screen flickered, then resolved into a live feed of our living room. Empty at first. The gray couch, the coffee table, the front door at the edge of the frame perfectly visible. I waited, barely breathing. At 8:40, Rebecca appeared on screen. She'd changed out of her bathrobe completely. Now she wore dark jeans and a fitted sweater, her hair styled, makeup applied. Not the clothes you wear to work alone at home. She sat on the couch with her laptop and coffee, scrolling through her phone, smiling at something, typing rapidly. My chest tightened painfully. The morning crawled by with agonizing slowness. I watched her work, make phone calls, laugh at something on her screen. At 10:45, she got up and disappeared off screen, probably to the kitchen. Came back with a glass of water. Normal. Everything looked so perfectly normal. Then at 11:50, the doorbell rang sharply. I sat up straight immediately, my heart suddenly pounding. Rebecca jumped up from the couch, checked her reflection in the hallway mirror, smoothing her hair carefully. Then she opened the front door wide. A man stepped inside confidently. Tall, mid-30s, dark-haired, good-looking, wearing a leather jacket and jeans. I zoomed in on my phone screen, my hands shaking uncontrollably. Nathan Pierce. The name hit me like a physical punch. I remembered him clearly now. Rebecca had introduced us at her company holiday party 8 months ago. This is Nathan, one of our new marketing associates. He's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. She'd been glowing when she said it, her eyes bright. I'd shaken his hand, smiled politely, made small talk about the Trailblazers game. Now I watched him step into my house, watched Rebecca close the door behind him, watched her lean in and hug him intimately. Not a colleague hug, not a friendly hug, an intimate hug that lasted too long. My vision blurred at the edges. They moved to the couch together. Rebecca disappeared off screen briefly, came back carrying 2 glasses and a bottle of wine. Wine at noon on a Monday afternoon. She poured carefully. They clinked glasses together, laughed about something I couldn't hear clearly through the audio. Nathan said something animated, gestured with his hands expressively. Rebecca threw her head back, laughing freely. He reached out, put his hand on her knee deliberately, left it there. I gripped the phone so hard my knuckles went white. Then Nathan leaned in and kissed her directly on the mouth. For 1 second, one horrible, frozen second, I thought she'd push him away firmly. Thought there'd been some mistake, some misunderstanding between colleagues. But she didn't push him away at all. She kissed him back, passionately. Her hand came up to his face tenderly, his arms wrapped around her tightly. They melted into each other like they'd done this 1,000 times before, like this was routine. I couldn't breathe at all. 14 years. 14 years of marriage together, 12 years raising Emma from a baby, late nights when she was an infant, crying inconsolably, walking the floors, singing lullabies until dawn, family vacations to the coast, Christmas mornings watching Emma's face light up, the way Rebecca used to look at me across the dinner table and smile, like I was her whole world, her everything. All of it. All of it was built on lies. I tapped the screen hard. The feed went black immediately. I couldn't watch anymore, couldn't bear it. I leaned my head against the steering wheel, gulping air like a drowning man fighting for the surface. My hands were shaking so badly I had to clench them into tight fists. On the passenger seat, my wedding ring. 14 years on my finger suddenly felt like it weighed 100 pounds. Before we continue, if this story is resonating with you, please share it with someone who needs to hear it. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what happens next. The next 4 days were a complete blur. I went through the motions mechanically: work, home, sleep, forced smiles at colleagues, answered emails professionally, pretended everything was fine. But inside I was breaking apart piece by piece. I couldn't unsee what I'd watched on that screen. Every time I looked at Rebecca across the dinner table, when she bothered to come home at all, I saw her in Nathan's arms, heard her laugh, saw the way she'd kissed him back without hesitation. I watched the camera feed obsessively every day. Nathan came back Wednesday afternoon, then Friday, same routine every time. Wine, laughter, touching, kissing. I saved everything methodically, uploaded the videos to an encrypted USB drive, backed them up to the cloud. Evidence. Cold, digital proof of what my marriage had become, what it really was. Thursday night, Rebecca texted casually, "Have a team dinner tonight. Won't be home until late. Don't wait up." I stood alone in our house, in my house now, in my mind, and opened the filing cabinet in the study. Bank statements, 6 months' worth of records. I spread them across the desk and started going through them line by line, searching. Our joint account, the one we'd opened 14 years ago, the week after our wedding ceremony. And there it was, clearly, a pattern I'd been too trusting to notice before. Cash withdrawals regularly, $500, $700, $1,000, week after week after week, like clockwork. Always on days Rebecca claimed she was working late or meeting clients for dinner. I added them up carefully. Over $22,000 in 6 months alone, just gone, vanished. My hands shook as I kept digging deeper. Hotel receipts, the Heathman Hotel, a boutique hotel downtown Portland, $450 a night, multiple stays over months. Restaurant receipts, the Pigeon, Canard, places I'd always wanted to take Rebecca for our anniversary, but she'd said were too expensive for our budget. Apparently not too expensive for Nathan Pierce. And then I found it, tucked in an envelope at the bottom of the drawer, hidden, a receipt from Tiffany & Company, $2,700 for a sterling silver pendant necklace. I'd never seen Rebecca wear it anywhere, because she hadn't bought it for herself at all. I sat there for a long time staring at that receipt. $2,700 of our money. Money we'd been carefully saving together. Money that was supposed to go towards Emma's college fund, her future. She'd spent it on jewelry for her lover without a second thought. That weekend, I called a divorce attorney finally. Patricia Reynolds' office was downtown. in one of those glass towers that reflected the Portland skyline. Monday afternoon, I rode the elevator to the 34th floor nervously. She met me in a conference room, a woman in her 50s with short silver hair and sharp, intelligent eyes. All business, professional. "Mr. Thompson, tell me everything that's happened." So I did, methodically. The pills Dr. Martinez found, the diagnosis, the affair I'd documented, the money Rebecca had stolen. I showed her the videos, the bank statements, the receipts, everything. Showed her the lab results proving Rebecca had been drugging our daughter repeatedly. Patricia watched it all without any expression. When I finished completely, she sat back in her chair slowly. "Mr. Thompson," she said quietly, "you have an absolutely airtight case here. Full custody of Emma, favorable asset division. Everything will lean heavily in your favor. What do I need to do?"